really like these little harnesses, but Sam's is definitely too big for him. I had it as tight as it could, and in the distance from the car to here, well, not even that, 20 metres, his front feet popped out through the neck hole. I don't know what he does when he's walking. So what I've done is I've just lengthened those side bits as much as I can, and then I'm just hooking one of the top loops to the side loop, so his leg's actually off to one side on him. But it's just brought that chest plate section up around his chest more. Also, I should say shoulders. You can see Batman's. His is a little loose too, and it's as tight as it can go. They're much more comfortable on them. They don't choke them. See how low they are on their necks. Yeah. He stepped out of it and tripped twice. Poor little fella. Day hasn't been quite as nice today either. It's been grey and miserable, and I really think that affected my mood, because I have not been in the mood for doing jack today. My wife had to make me move to walk the boys, even though I like to do it. I just couldn't get up. I still need to just, at the very least, power wash the bird poo off the truck, even if I don't do a full wash. Easy. You're with me, okay? With me. I like how they'll still walk together. Even though they're not tethered. I just finished with year 11, and there wasn't many here, but the 4 that were here were working. And the work that I got out of them was probably the best in terms of prac. A couple of factors there. One, a looming N award over their head for not getting the prac done. 2, with less people in the room, when they asked for help, it wasn't as far away. And that's one of the things with classes when they're big. If a student asks for help, lots of students ask for help, and you're constantly just being pulled from one side to another, from one student to another. And it's hard to help the kids who probably need it. But they worked really well today and achieved a lot today. And I said that to him, or to them. It's good to see them working. And when they're trying things for the first time and saying that it doesn't work, I say, well, it's the first time you've ever used it. It's not going to be easy. It's not that you can't do it or that you suck at it. It's just, because that's what they would say, oh, I suck at this. And I'd say, well, have you used this tool before? No. Well, you're just learning. No. These are those rare lessons when you actually feel really good about it, and really good about the outcome and how they've worked and what they've probably achieved personally. Like, I don't know that because I'm not in their head, but the fact that they're getting work done, I'd say that's a real achievement. spring is certainly on its way. It's felt warm enough already to stop wearing sweaters in the morning. New South Wales is meant to be getting like a week of really warm weather for spring. And when you think about it, it's not spring until Sunday. And that's just because we do it for the start of the month. In terms of equinoxes, it's not spring until the 22nd of September. So, but there feels like a real warm front coming across. It's really windy. It got really windy last night, and this morning it's windy. There's little broken branches all over the roads. It's a little cloudy this morning. It's just not cold, and the tilt is definitely starting to tilt our way already because the sun is up a lot higher, a lot earlier. It's almost getting to the point where I'm waking up at 5:30, and when I sit down for breakfast it's already looking light out, whereas before it was dark. Short word on our elective process at the moment. While I've closed it off, I made an announcement on Monday in the assembly for kids who missed the cut-off, who hadn't made their electives, to come and see me so that we can get their electives down. There's still no decision on what subjects are running. I sent through the raw data to the boss on the Friday, and on Monday morning he said, table this with the leadership meeting, and we'll just have it out in the open. Everybody can see what guides the decision-making process, so that people can go, oh, my subject didn't make it again. So they can see the apps. I've shown them a direct printout from EdVal of the raw numbers for all of the subjects, and you can see that some subjects like pass in stage 5, being that it's year 9 and 10, or year 8 and 9 electing. 98 kids had it as their first or second choice. So that's technically 3 classes. They do have the staff to do that in PE. That is part of what the boss wanted everybody to see. Like, if we're going to try and run classes, do you have the staff to run this and still have all your other subjects running? And then getting down to the very bottom end, okay, this class, this subject only has 2 kids who chose it. We can't run it. Not at the expense of other subject areas. You can't justify a class of 2 when you've got enough kids to make 3 classes for another subject. So that was put out. I talked them through just the way the process has been done in the past, and the sort of decision making that goes through what runs and doesn't run at the bottom end, and the fact that, you know, when we say these ones won't run, close them off, shuffle the kids' preferences around so they get one of their reserves up into their first 2, gives them a better chance of getting their reserve, and see if that bounces some of those other ones that are down the bottom. Now in this particular example, this year we've got 30 year 11 electives, plus English and the extension classes. And so when I did a count back from the most popular down, and not including English and the extensions that are up there, when I get to the 25th, when I get to the 29th subject, that subject had 5 kids. The next 6 subjects had 4. So there was no clear 30th class. And that's where I was saying
we would look at the 2s and the classes with 2 and 3, cancel those, shuffle those, see if that made any impact on the 4s. And if it didn't, it would just be, okay, let's look at the students maybe and see if those students might be fairly serious about the subject. Now, down in those subjects that have 4, I'm going to just use an example. Timber is one that only got 4 kids. Based just on that, I was not going to fight for it. I can't say, like, even though we didn't get it this year, I can't justify a class of 4 from the start of year 11. And when I looked at the class list, 2 of the kids were in the class this year in year 10, one of which would never work, and the other one rarely worked. So straight away you just say, that's not going to be worth the time. So I would just straight up take that one out, shuffle those kids as well, see how that helps. I did send the data of the students who were in those bottom classes, the least chosen. I sent them to the boss to say, just in case we want to make use any of this information when deciding upon the bottom class, like the 30th. I mean, he might go, all right, none of those really warrant running, we'll just have 29. We are under a staffing crisis, and we've been struggling through that staffing crisis with the 30 lesson classes. The way that year 9 is looking, based on the fact that there's some pretty full classes and then the other ones coming down to smaller numbers, we can't go all the way down to the bottom of the list, but by combining the year groups into like just a stage set of electives, instead of having 12 in year 9 and 12 in year 10, we'll be able to have 20 across the stage and cater for just about every kid. And that's only chopping out three subjects, I think 3 or 4 subjects that had numbers of 4 or below, because the next one's up with like 8, so they were looking pretty good. Anyway, I guess we'll be making those decisions soon. I'll need to, because I need to try and get some lines in order so that we can share that information across the college to make the timetables tie up a little better, because of cross-campus teachers. Come on. Took the day off work to go down to Parramatta, which is where the teachers' dental and eye care are. It's linked with the health insurance from being a teacher. We normally try and get Saturday appointments, but they said the next Saturday appointment wasn't until January. So we got this one where we could, both my wife and I could go and get teeth checked and eyes checked. And because of that, it means I'm home a little earlier. The boys can get a
a walk in. Well, it's nice and sunny, warm, windy, and the boys both have a vet appointment this afternoon as well to get their shots. The shots are for their joints, arthritis joints. We also got to have the vet have a look at Batman's eyes because he seems to be going quite nearsightedly blind quite quickly. And he's always had slightly cloudy eyes since we got him, but he could catch a ball like there was no tomorrow. He was beautiful at it. When I was playing with him out in the backyard the other week, he was really not seeing the ball on a few occasions. So, and recently, like, go to give him his blueberries or something after his shots, and he doesn't see your hand. He doesn't see what you're doing, and just looks a little bewildered. I mean, he looks fine now. Yeah. I think it's just close-up stuff. Yesterday's vet visit was interesting. Sam's all good, just got a little bit of old age cloudiness in his eyes. Batman apparently has advanced cataracts, because the vet said when they shine the light in their eyes, you can basically see right to the back of the eye, and when they've got cataracts you can't. And they said that's the case with Batman, and his are at the point where he's probably only seeing shapes and shadows. They have probably advanced so much because of the diabetes. Seems okay when he's out in, like, when the light's bright. Obviously you can see a bit better, but he said when he's in, if he's in a dark environment, he's not going to be able to make out much. But in a familiar environment, the dogs are usually fine. That's why he's kind of okay around the house, but he's getting a little wary of the stairs and stuff. They can do corrective surgery to one eye, remove the cataract, replace it with a lens, and that way they'll have sight back, but they won't do it to both because then they can't see anything until they're healed. He's still a happy lad. Found this block of land online again. 23 point something hectares, so 231 something thousand square meters. This flattened area is about 4,500 square meters, so just over an acre. So an acre's about 4,000 square meters. So just over an acre here. And apparently it's zoned so that you could subdivide up this top section that's like the 1 acre, 1 and a bit acres. You could break that up a little bit. Not massively, but the bushland area can't do anything with. That's just bushland, apparently. But buyer's guide price 1.1 to 1.2 million for the block. It obviously has electricity. No water or sewerage out this way though. So still a dream. Can't afford that much money. There is a There's also a house up for sale near us, which did belong to a mate of mine, and I think he was just like, he built it. I remember him building it, and they lived there for a while. Then they moved into another property that they owned, and they were renting this one out, but now they've decided to sell it. And its market value is 1.1 to 1.2 million. And that's 3-bedroom, 2-bath on a, I think a 700 square metre block. It's a standard house block. I could buy a ready-built house and move in. It's a fairly nice house. Or I could buy 23 hectares and build something. And you've got to find the money to build the other thing. Oh, what a dream. What a dream. Good boys. We also discovered that Batman's a little bit older than we thought. We were thinking he was about to turn 10. And according to vet records, because the previous owner had taken him to the same vet, he's closer to be turning 11 this year. But that's still based on just the previous owners saying to the vet, oh, he's about this old, when they first went and saw him. And the vet said their systems sort of counted back and gave him an arbitrary birthday. So he's going to be turning at least 11 pretty soon. Which kind of explains why he's got so much more grey on him than you would expect. I think Sam's 15. Yeah. Still acts like a pup sometimes. Acts like an old man other times. Grumpy old one.